Alright, hello and welcome back. This is a guide on how to power up your units, your builds, your loadouts. So if you're in a game match and you're sick and tired of people killing you with one shot, but then when you try to approach and do the same for them, your attacks literally do nothing. Well, I started to look at my build a bit more, and I actually started to pay attention to the support slot over here. So this video is inspired by another one that I saw where wise guys made a vid talking about maybe it's a good idea to level up those other grades of abilities like the N rarity and the R rarity. And it got me thinking, and I started to think about how I can optimize and squeeze out just a little bit more damage. So when I started with this Prompto here, at first I was using skills like Ace Fire and Minwoo and all that, you know, trying to think about maneuverability and being a nuisance, just throwing a grenade, and if things get bad, teleport out of there. But I recently started to look more at stats, and I think stats are king in the game. So if you have your main slots, you have your abilities over there, fine. All the stats add to your overall total, but then don't sleep on the support stats, right? As you can see, I see that the game, if you filter by attack, the game will prefer certain abilities over the other. And I saw Terra there, and I saw the R grade of, what do you call it, Gaia and Zidane over there, and it got me thinking. So I did some looking up at the Dissidia.dev, and I found out basically a skeleton, not a skeleton, I figured out what grade of an SR would match that of a UR. And you know, the math comes in, and I'm just gonna explain a little bit. So on the top left I have a TLDR, but let's go over how I arrived at this conclusion, right? So the cross slash UR, at base value it's at 98 attack. If you look at, actually I gotta explain why, well, I'll explain that later. But I chose these abilities for the SR and the R and the N because they're the highest in the base attack stat. So the cross slash has 98 attack, and it would take the Terra SR to be at level 16 for it to have 99 attack, to almost equal a UR at base value, right? And for Embolden, the R ability, you would have to go to level, oof, I can't see, so close, what is, well, whatever, yeah, level 30 to get to 98 attack. And then if you leveled up the N ability, that would be level 36 to be able to reach 99 attack. So it looks like UR at 0 equals SR plus 1 equals R plus 2 equals N plus 3. So you know, 0, 1, 2, 3, it's very nice. So I bumped it up a bit because I didn't expect it to be linear, and good thing I did. So if we bring the UR plus 1, it'll have an attack stat of 114. The SR ability, you'll have to level it up to level 26 in order for it to equal to a UR plus 1. And then the R, you would have to level it to level 43, and then the N would be leveled to 49. Now, the thing is, those numbers are nice, and this way everything equals 114, but we are not gonna have an SR plus 2 and leave it at 26. So I just decided to just pop out, max out the level, and see what we're really getting here. So at the bottom of the category, that's where you're gonna see the final conclusion, because we're not leaving something at level 26, come on. So an SR plus 2 would give you 120, R ability plus 4 would give you 123, and N, you know, we're not gonna leave it at level 49. Let's leave it at N plus 4. And down there you'll see the cost for the eggs. So I have all of this wrapped up in a TLDR in the top left column right above my head. And the final conclusion is that obviously the UR abilities are the cheapest ones to get the most attack stat. And the N value cards, you're gonna need 110 copies of it if you manage to pull that many N ability, N grade ability. I keep calling them cards because of Mobius. But anyway, if you look at the cost for that, the growth egg cost, that's 24,000 growth eggs. In order for you to kind of reach the same stat attack level of a UR +1. The R abilities are expensive. That's 49,000 growth eggs you have to use, but you only need 2 copies of that. So the sweet spot is definitely the SR abilities. If you get, if you get lucky and you get a few of them, a few of those SR skills at +3, +4, definitely prioritize those. Now, it's not just any SR skills. I actually looked at the top ranking ones and I found the best ones. So as you can see, the highest base attack for the UR abilities would be Omni Slash, Army of One. From Cloud, Terra, Lightning, Kane, Zidane's Grand Lethal, Meteor from Renoa, Crackshot from Prompto, Diamond Destroyer from Gaia, and then Fuga from Iroha, and Spellbook from Onion Knight. For some reason, Selfie has a high base attack, and if you have these URs at +3, +4, like, you're so lucky. You have the best stat stick in the game, and this is going to be put into your auto slots, even if you're not running these. Well, if you're running Cloud, then obviously, but if you're running someone other than Cloud or these units here, and you have these UR abilities +3, +4, you're set for life. So the best abilities over there are 76 base stat, and that's from that's Meltdown from Terra, the Shining Wave from Warrior of Light, Vigilant from Kane. I actually have it +3, +4, I think. Hopeful Dance from Gaia, Hopeful Cheer from Kryl, and then Iroha, that Chon, however you pronounce that thing. So those have a base stat of 76. If you have these abilities chilling in your box at level 1, what are you doing, bro? Just level it up, and it'll give you just a little bit more extra power. If you happen to have the other abilities that start at base 63 base attack, but they're +4, +3, choose whichever one you have. But the point is, if you have these abilities sitting in your box at +1 and you're trying to squeeze out the most damage, well, it would be recommended that you level them up to the max. Firaga, for one, is really good. And I'm so happy and lucky that I got the Surge +3 just recently, and my Gaia now sits at 1200 attack. When in the past I was struggling to barely reach 1000. So ever since I started to optimize my support slots, I managed to squeeze out as much damage as possible. And then don't sleep on the R abilities too. So the R abilities are the expensive ones in terms of growth egg costs, and you might not want to do that. But if it's sitting in your box and it's +5 or something, you might consider it for power. And the N abilities, well, it's too early. The game is literally a couple weeks old. I don't think anybody would have 110 copies of an ability. But if you do, you can always go to Dissidia.dev and filter and look for the highest base stat and see if it's worth it. But the sweet spot is the SR abilities for those 1, 2, 3, 6 units right there. So whenever you're farming your gold crystals and you pull an SR ability for a unit that you don't use, really, it shouldn't be a moment of despair. You should actually be happy because it's a good stat stick. And using these skills, I managed to coach one of my friends into going from a 900 Attack Prompto to maybe 1020-ish, and it could be better, it could be improved. So anytime you look at your support slots, definitely pay attention to how the game auto filters the abilities for you. Like, I'm looking at it right now, I could definitely do something. I have a, what do you call it? I have this Kryl, oh, my game is disconnected. I have this Kryl SR3, I'm maxing that out to level 30, and that's probably gonna take the slot. Replace that Zidane once she's maxed out So I'm doing all this just to squeeze that little extra bit more damage. You know, one hit counts, and there you go. That's how to optimize and power up your account with everything that you can, and don't sleep on these abilities. They're actually very good. That was a quick guide, and I hope you found this useful. Please like, share, and subscribe, and follow me for more guides. Thank you.